Hi, welcome back to West Coast Geeks. I'm your host, Joaquin. You know who's with me.
What's up, guys?
What up, indeed? It's my boy Eric. So today's video is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Part 10, Establishing and Equipping the Character. So there's only gonna be a few pages that Eric's gonna read because we're not gonna go over all the charts like arrows, 2 silver piece, arrows, dozen, 1 gold piece. We're not going to be reading any of the weapon and damage weapon types, like Morningstar, 125 gold weight, does 2 to 8 damage to small or large, medium or small, which they don't have that in 5e.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah. See, that's a they don't have damage versus
Big
small or
and
medium,
yeah, and
large
then
is definite.
large, they take less damage. It'd be 2 to
Yeah,
7. So
I like
we're
it.
not gonna, we're gonna get into that when we get into the weapon section, but without further ado, character hit points, establishing the characters, and character language. Take us away.
All right, character hit points. Each character has a varying number of hit points, just as monsters do. These hit points represent how much damage, actual or potential, the character can withstand before being killed. A certain amount of these hit points represent the actual physical punishment which can be sustained. The remainder, a significant portion of hit points at higher levels, stands for skill, luck, and or magical factors. Typical man-at-arms can take about 5 hit points of damage before being killed. Let us suppose that a 10th level fighter has 55 hit points, plus a bonus of 30 hit points for his constitution for a total of 85 hit points. This is the equivalent of about 18 hit dice for creatures, about what it would take to kill. About what it would take to kill 4 huge war horses.
Damn.
It is ridiculous to assume that even a fantastic fighter can take that much punishment. The same holds true to a lesser extent for clerics, thieves, and the other classes. Thus, the majority of hit points are symbolic of combat skill, luck bestowed by supernatural powers, and magical forces. So it's not saying that they can physically sustain that much damage. It's just taking into account deflecting blows,
Yeah.
dodging at the
The,
last
your
second.
your hit points also represent the amount of wearing you down until they get the fatal blow. That's all HP
Yeah.
represents. HP doesn't represent like, oh, I can take so much damage.
Yeah, you're not just standing there
Yeah.
soaking in all this
So see,
damage.
notice how they put for skill, luck, or magical factors.
Mhm.
Hence, the monk at a certain level being dropped off from Tiamat's clutches as he gives her the finger because he sees a mountain and he's like, "All I gotta do is land within 10 feet of it."
And I'll do
And as he
55 hit
slides
points to
down
you.
it, it's like, what?
And I'll do 55 hit points to you. All
All right,
right.
so those of you who got that reference, thank you for
Right.
watching our
You've been
video.
following along. Yep.
Yep.
Hit points are determined by hit dice. At first level, a character has but one hit die. Exception, rangers and monks begin with 2 dice each. At each successive level, another hit die is gained, i.e., the die is rolled to determine how many additional hit points a character gets. Points can be magically restored by healing potions, cure wound spells, rings of regeneration, or even by wish spells. However, a character's hit points can never exceed the total initially scored by the hit die, constitution bonus or penalty, and magical devices. For example, if a character has 26 hit points at the beginning of an adventure, he or she cannot drink a potion to be enchanted to above that number, 26 in this case.
Yeah, rules lawyer. You're like, I have 10 hit points, but I drink this potion of security. Now I got an
Well,
additional
they
24.
broke that now with fucking temporary hit points.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said fuck off with that rule.
I wouldn't even give it to him that. I'd be like, no, you don't need the healing, so you're good. Let's just spell.
Yeah, you can't heal temporary hit points.
Yeah.
It won't take effect until those temporary hit points are gone, but it does let you go above the max.
Yeah. All right.
As an example, oh sorry.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, like go on.
As an example, let us assume that the character with 26 hit points mentioned above is engaged in an adventure. Early in the course of exploring a dungeon, he or she falls into a 10-foot deep pit, taking one six-sided die, d6, of damage. 4 hit points of damage, so the character drops to 22 hit points. Next, he or she takes 15 hit points of damage in combat, so the character drops to 7 hit points. A cleric in the party uses a cure serious wounds spell on the character and restores 10, for example, depending on the die roll, of his or her lost hit points. So the character has a total of 17. Later activities reduce the character to 3 hit points, but the party uses a wish spell to restore all members to full hit points. So at that time, the character goes up to 26 once more. Rest also restores hit points, for it gives the body a chance to heal itself and regain the stamina or force, which adds to the skill, luck, and magical hit points. Your character's class will determine which sort of hit die you will roll to determine hit points. In some campaigns, the referee will keep this total secret. Ooh, that's fucking gnarly. Informing players that they feel strong, fatigued, or very weak, thus indicating waning hit points. In other campaigns, the dungeon masters will have player record their character hit point and keep track of all changes. Oh, that's good too. Both methods are acceptable, and it is up to your DM as to which will be used in the campaign you participate in. I like that.
Yeah,
None
but
of my players would go for that shit though,
now, well,
dude.
the other thing is
There'll be a
too,
fucking mutiny.
it's also taxing on the DM because the
It is. You
character is
got enough
gonna
shit
be
to take
like
care of.
every round, like, how do I feel? Because they're gonna be a dick
How do
now.
I feel? You didn't get hit, so you feel the same way you did last round,
Yeah,
stupid.
and then you smack them upside the head. No, don't do that.
Now you feel a bit weaker.
Oh, but you know what? We do gotta tone down our profanity. I think in one
Really?
video we dropped like 2 F-bombs. I was like, that's just too
Dude,
many.
that's low.
I know, but we can't be doing that anymore.
Oh, I
An
think I've seen
occasional
monster.
swear word, an occasional French word, pardon my French, is okay. But we can't
Pardon
be
my
dropping
French.
F-bombs. All right.
Parlez-vous français, sons of.
Pretty much.
Uh, all right, so we're moving on to establishing the character. By determine abilities, race, class, alignment, and hit points, you have created your character. Next, you must name him or her and possibly give some family background, a name and next of kin as heir to the possessions of the character if he or she should meet an untimely death. To personify the character. Having done all that, your dungeon master will introduce your character to the campaign setting. In all likelihood, whether the locale is a village, town, or city, your character will have to acquaint himself or herself with the territory. First step will often be getting into the place, i.e., a gate guard demanding to know what business you have in the town or city. Thereafter, it will be necessary to locate a safe and reasonable price place in which to lodge, typically an inn of some sort, but perhaps a rented cot, a loft, or even chambers at a hostel. Since the location selected will have to serve as a base and depot, it must be relatively safe from intrusion or burglary. Once the headquarters has been found, your character can set about learning the lay of the land and attempt to find the trade establishments needed to supply the desired equipment for adventuring. Perhaps it will also be necessary to locate where other player characters reside in order to engage in joint expeditions. In any event, your character created, personified, and established will be ready to adventure once equipment is purchased and relations with other player characters are settled. If player characters are not immediately available, there are not, or if they are not cooperative,
Uh-oh.
I don't want to adventure with you. You're a jerk. It is advisable that men at arms be hired. Hirelings of this sort, as well as henchmen, are detailed in the sections entirely entitled Hirelings and Henchmen.
So,
So yeah, this is something that a lot of people don't do nowadays,
no, they
or at
don't.
least my group doesn't.
I doubt any 5e group does this right now.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's just 5e. It's the role players. They
Yeah,
just
I
don't.
mean,
Doesn't matter whether we're playing 5e or another adventure or what have you.
yeah, the headquarters. So it's like usually adventurers are moving from place to place. That's why they're called
Yeah, a bunch of
adventurers.
nomads.
Um, but I do
So
like the part before you start with the languages, or if they are not cooperative. Basically, what he's
yeah,
saying is to tell those players to f off. This is how
yeah.
we can use our profanity.
That-
And
Been shackled.
yeah, it's like we don't need you. You know what? I'll tell you what. You don't want to be part of this adventure. You can stay in town. What am I doing? I don't know. You do whatever you want.
I don't know. You go play with the halflings,
Yeah, you just roll dice and pretend something happened
right?
until you're ready to join us. All right, character
You've gotten
languages.
the right attitude.
Yep.
All right, so character languages. All humans, as well as those semi humans and non humans in close contact with people, speak the common tongue. This language is spoken by all states in the central campaign area, but your referee may well have areas in which common tongue is different from that which is your character speaks. In addition to the common tongue, all intelligent creatures able to converse in speech use special languages particular to their alignment. These alignment languages are chaotic evil, chaotic good, chaotic neutral, lawful evil, lawful good, lawful neutral, neutral evil, neutral good, and neutrality. The alignment of your character will dictate which language he or she speaks. Only one alignment dialect can be used by a character. If a character changes alignment, the previously known language is no longer able to be spoken by him or her. In addition to the above, druids have their own special tongue, and thieves have their secret speech the thieves can't. Therefore, a character will speak at least two languages, common and alignment. He or she might also be able to converse in special patois of druids or thieves. They
Did you
say
say
patois like they're
patois?
Jamaican. They're fucking freaking Jamaicans, dude. Nah, the booyah kasha.
Patois.
Stop your blood clot crying, man.
Come on, that was too much.
Semi-human and non-human characters are able to speak racial tongues as well. In most campaigns, it is likely that open alignment speech will be frowned upon as a serious social breach of etiquette. Be speaking my secret language trick. Character can learn additional languages. Even the rather slow 80 IQ can learn one additional language. However, his vocabulary, usage, and ability to translate must perforce be limited. Very bright can learn five, six, or even seven. The details of the numbers of tongues that can be learned go to character's abilities, intelligence. Here is how a new language is learned. Character must find a person, human, semi-human, or non-human, or talking creature who speaks the language which is to be learned. Character must then be in close proximity to his or her instructor for up to a year.
Yeah.
Prior to that period, the language can be learned 1 month early for each point of intelligence above 12. Thus, a character with 13 intelligence can learn the new language in 11 months. 14 learns in 10 months, all the way to 18 intelligence, which requires but 6 months to learn. Only one new language can be studied at any given time. Which languages are knowable in a campaign is strictly up to the DM who runs it. The following list gives some examples of the languages typically used, and they list Dwarvish, Elvish, Goblin, Halfling, Hobgoblin, Kobold, Lizardman, Ogrish, Orcish. All of the above may not normally be available due to campaign circumstances, and languages not listed might be common. Consult your dungeon master. Note that if, for any example, you capture a centaur or a talking dragon of some sort, it is possible to learn the appropriate creature tongue.
Okay, so before you go on money, the reason why this language was put in here and these rules, because it was assumed that player characters would play out their downtime. So after you have like made your character, right? And you let's just say you have your 14th intelligence and your backstory is if you speak dwarvish, that means if you are a human, you have a dwarven friend or a contact. But it,
Mm,
and then that's what these tools are supposed to help you build your backstory and contacts and what part of Greyhawk, I mean, yeah, the the Greyhawk campaign setting you're from. And
mm.
if you gain a point in intelligence, through wish or spell ability or even ability enhancement somehow, and you wanted to learn an additional language, you just didn't go, well, I speak lizard man. Now the DM is supposed to go, well, during your downtime, you can go explore that.
Right.
You just didn't. You're like, oh, all of a sudden I have a new language now. I'm cool like that. It's like,
Just magically appear.
yeah, unless it was something that gave you the ability magically to enhance to
Mm.
speak another language. That's how it was, and we will be getting into a little bit of that. I think the Dungeon Master's Guide really dwells more into that, and I can't remember
On
the
time
Player's
and that,
Handbook
yeah.
if the Player's Handbook does a little bit, but we'll find out when we get to the end. Let's talk about everybody's favorite subject because it affects all our lives: money.
Money. Starting money. Your character is unusual, exceptional as compared to the norm. This applies to abilities and funds as well. Thus, he or she will have a large supply of coins with which to purchase equipment and supplies to begin adventuring. The possible number of gold pieces with which a player begins depends upon the character class. So here we have the cleric with 3d6 times 10 gold pieces, fighter is 5d4 times 10 gold pieces, magic user is 2d4 times 10, thief is 2d6 times 10, and the monk is a lowly 5d4, not times 10. Poor ass.
They are so poor. All right.
He stays in the temple,
Yeah, that's
sad
pretty
and
much what they
lonely.
did. I mean, they just all they
Yeah.
needed was food and shelter and clothing.
Mhm. Yep. To determine the number of gold pieces your character has at the start, simply roll the appropriate dice and total the sum, multiplying dice 10. Most of these funds will quickly be spent on the cost of staying in the adventuring area and acquiring the equipment which will be used for adventuring. Monetary system. Here we give a list of the breakdown of money and what they equal to, like 10 copper pieces is 1 silver, 20 silver pieces is 1 gold, 2 electrum is
Yeah,
1 gold.
Mark.
Yeah, Martin hates
Martin.
electrum. Electrum doesn't exist.
Yeah.
1 platinum piece is 5 gold. So it's a little different from how they do it now. They broke it down to a simple 10 equals 10 equals 10 system. Yeah, this was the original 10 copper to 1 silver, 20 silver to 1 gold, 2 electrum. I thought it was always more than that. I always thought it was 5.
Yep.
It is assumed the size and weight of each coin is relatively equal to the other coin, regardless of type. Character will most probably be adventuring in an area where money is plentiful. Think of the similar situation as similar as Alaskan boom towns during the gold rush days when eggs sold for $1, mining tools sold for 20, 50, and $100 or more. Costs in the adventuring area are distorted because of law of supply and demand. Supply of coin is high, while supply of equipment or adventurers are in great demand. Then we have money changing banks, loans, and jewelers. That's how I prefer to carry my money. Large sums of lower value coins can be changed to. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Large sums of lower value coins can be changed to a smaller number of larger value coin and vice versa at a relatively small cost, typically 3% of the transaction. This is done at the money changers. The money changer will also score as a banker, keeping funds and giving a marker to vouch for the amount. Note that bankers will not usually give any interest. Bankers will give loans according to the reliability, renown, status, and material possessions of the individual. An unknown and low level character is unlikely to get a loan without giving security for the value of the amount borrowed. Furthermore, the interest rate will be high, typically 10% per month or even 5% per week.
Whoa.
Man, these robbers, dude. Well known and well-known and propertied character can typically get large loans at relatively low interest rates, 1% per week or thereabouts. Jewelers and gem merchants will buy and sell jewelry and gems. The buying price will usually be 20% under the actual value of the piece or stone.
Yeah, because
Interesting.
you're gonna lose money. So if you can't convert everything to a 5,000 gold piece gem, you're gonna lose 20% when you sell it.
No, well, yeah, the jewelers lose money, not the characters.
Oh, the characters.
Yes, the buying price will usually be 20% under actual value. So if you're buying a 100 gold piece gem, it's going to be priced at 80 gold pieces instead of 100.
Yeah, but the jeweler is not gonna give you 5,000. He's not gonna give you a gem that's worth 5,000. He's not gonna give you 5,000 gold because he's got to resell it and make a profit.
But that's literally what it's saying.
Well, I'm telling you, that's how you run the.
Okay, but what I'm saying in the book, it says that it's 20% under the actual value because money is more easily transactionable than jewels.
Yeah. Every time I've
Characters-
looked at a notation of the jewelers in D&D, they always undercut the players by like 20 to 25%.
They're breaking the rules.
Uh,
Characters should carefully shop around whenever possible to determine which establishment offers them the best value. Thieves, whole damn lot of them.
Here we go. Hello, did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Oh, you gotta read equipping the character.
But you said, "Here we go." I thought you were changing the page.
Oh, we're still on equipping the character. But
Yeah, you
change the
said no.
page once you read that, and then we're gonna cherry pick a few things, and then I'm gonna switch it over.
Equipping the character. Careful selection of equipment and supplies for characters is very important. Often there will not be sufficient funds to purchase everything desired, so intelligent choices will have to be made. Also, the choice of equipment should always be done with respect to encumbrance. Yes,
Yep.
I hate that people don't use encumbrance now.
Yeah, I know.
Many can't yet. That's why I always buy a pony.
Yep.
Always buy a pony.
Which the
No, Joaquin
kobolds
likes
will eat.
uh, Joaquin likes to kill them all the time.
I do. I
Oh,
don't know
poor
why.
baby. 'Cause you're a cruel, you're animal cruelty. You're a serial killer. I
Oh,
knew
the
it.
kobolds gotta eat, dude.
Cobalt's got to die.
My little kobolds.
I'm gonna shake him between the third and fifth rib. Take that. Don't look at me, little puppet.
All right.
In many campaigns, it is necessary for the characters to shop in a number of places in order to obtain everything they desire. Few games will have traders' establishment in which everything or nearly everything can be found, but the average cost will be higher because they're filthy, crooked crooks, and that's how they take advantage of adventurers.
That's
As
not what
in
it
most
said.
dealings, that's totally what it says. That's
Not
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
not exactly
As
what it
in
said.
most dealings, the buyer should always beware. Things may be as they appear, or they might be otherwise. Dot dot dot.
No, that's jacked up.
Right? That it does say.
Yeah.
A list of goods typically desired by characters follows.
Okay,
Here
so
we have a list of the different armors. You have the arms or weapons, but you have your standard banded chain,
yeah.
small and big helmets, leather padded plate. Have your ring mail, scale mail, your different sizes of shields. You have your wooden shield in case you're a druid and you can't touch metal.
Yeah, you
And
can't.
your splinted and studded armor. And your weapons are pretty much standard, although something that they did in the advanced Dungeons and Dragons is instead of generalizing all the polearm weapons as great weapons or polearms,
Yeah.
they actually had Bardishes, Beck de Corbins, Bill Gizarms, all the Foshard, Glaves, Gizarms,
Yeah, look at
Halberd.
so we're gonna look up the
But,
stat when we get to the other one, but you have a footman's flail at 3 gold pieces,
yes,
and you have a horseman. So
your
let's
footmen's were typically two-handed weapons,
because
whereas the
no,
horsemen's
because
were.
we're gonna look the damage up. Like we're just gonna cherry pick a few things, but I think that's one of
Oh
them.
yeah, that's what I'm saying though, because they were two-handed versus single-handed when you're a horseman.
Yep.
Same thing with hammers and stuff like that.
So before you went into this, I was gonna mention how um I think I've only been able to successfully get a loan at the start of an adventure once. And
Alone, how bad is your adventure that you got to start off going to
well, no, because
Dollar
you
Lone
like
Tree?
you roll, and then you're like, oh, I'm 50 pieces gold, I'm 50 gold short of everything I want, and you go and you take a
Nope,
loan, and
better go kill some kobolds.
you know, I was able to because of the contacts I had within the town we started in. They vouched for me. They're like, "Oh yeah, so and so, he's a good kid," you know.
Mm,
And so
you'll end up
yeah, I
dead in a
did.
ditch.
The DM did charge me 1% interest per week of the 50, and I had 2 weeks to pay it back. So because I told
Rails.
him I was going on an adventure, and then you know, he gave me like 1% interest for 2 weeks, and then after that, it was gonna start going up to 5. And so
Mm,
you can role play these things. They're pretty fun to do, but
yeah,
uh, most players don't need it. They have so many abilities nowadays with
yeah,
cantrips and all
yeah.
this other stuff.
Nowadays is so,
But it's
and
just
you start
something you
off with
can,
stuff.
yeah, and it's just something you could ask the DM, especially with persuasion checks nowadays. They're not
Hmm.
going to give it to you for free, but they might give you a loan, not
You
knowing
haggle,
you. Yeah.
but that's another thing. People don't. They don't haggle.
Yep.
Like, all
All
right, come
right.
on, let's go.
Now we're going to jump over to the next page.
You
Cursor.
want me to read herbs, belladonnas, garlics, and wolfsbane?
Yep. So real
Miles.
quick, So, as you can see, they got livestock, miscellaneous
Oh yeah,
equipment
my
and
favorite.
items. They have provisions,
My
religious
goats and puppies.
items, pack and harness, and transport. And if you
Yep.
take a look at a wagon is 150 gold pieces. That's what you take a loan out for. Like on a wagon and some
No,
horses.
you take a cart, you
Get
get a
some
cart, and
donkeys.
you make everybody walk, and you attach the cart to the biggest, strongest fighter in the group. He said, "You are a new war pony until we get enough gold."
All right. So we're going to move on because this is going to be a very quick video because we are almost done with this video because the next video, which you'll see if you stay till the end. So, armor.
I will say the miscellaneous equipment and items is pitifully small.
It is. They did
I
expand
did,
on it in 5e, which is nice.
dude. I used to love. Remember the Dungeoneer Survivor Guide and the Wilderness Survivor Guide
Oh
had
yeah,
like ages of stuff, dude. It was like reading the Christmas catalog from J.C. Penney's and Sears when you were a kid.
yeah,
That's literally what it was. Like, oh, I made 5,000 gold from it. Well, I'm just gonna buy 10,000 coin weight of equipment now and put it in my wagon.
yeah. Yeah, like I need a pulley. Why? I don't
You know,
know. I might need one.
I need a merchant galleon.
Yeah.
That's where we're going. We're
This
gonna
is
adventure on the sea now.
yeah, pretty much. And then
All
somebody would
right.
be like, "I want a warship."
A warship with that gallon.
What yeah.
Armor. Armor, along with the use of a shield, is the basis for determination of how easily a character can be struck by an opponent's weapon. Other factors modify this, of course. Dexterity and magical effects are the two principal modifiers. Not confuse armor, which is worn, with the armor class rating of a monster. While a creature might be given a very high armor class because of its exceptionally thick hide, armor plating, chitinous exoskeleton, or the like, other factors are considered in such ratings. For example, the size of the creature, its speed, its agility, and perhaps its supernatural, extra dimensional, or multi planed existence aspects are considered in the armor class for all non human type monsters. Therefore, a monster with an armor class of 2 will not be carrying a shield.
Hmm.
Armor types are given on the table below. Note that the inclusion of a shield raises the armor class by a factor of 1, not 2 like it does now.
Yep.
And that's to represent the 5% on a d20, but that assumes the attack from the front where the character can interpose between himself and a blow. That's another thing that people don't often use.
Yeah,
And I don't know if they've
front and
changed that
back AC type of thing.
in later editions. Yeah, if you get attacked from the back, you do not get the shield bonus. Small shield can be counted only against, and this is what I like too. Small shield can only be counted against one attack per round. Normal size shield can block 2. Large shield can block up to 3.
Should bring that
Attacks from
back.
the right flank, huh?
They should bring that back.
Right? Attacks from the right flank and rear always negate the advantage of the shield. So, what about the left flank? I guess it's assuming that you're right handed and you hold the shield in your left.
Yeah.
Class of armor and shield varies. Generally speaking, the better the protection, the greater the expense. Note, magic armor negates weight. That movement does not consider any encumbrance from magic armor. That's what was always nice.
Yep.
There are otherwise various types of magic armor. Yeah, so you have a magic, even if it's a measly +1 suit of plate mail or full plate, that thing weighs nothing.
Pretty
That was
much.
always amazing. Then you have your different types of armor,
Yeah,
and
read
the
the armor
armor
class
class
table
rating.
for everybody.
Huh?
I said, do read the armor class table. We can
Yeah.
read that one.
So your basic unarmored, unshielded AC was 10. That was a standard. Your shield lowers it to 9. Leather or padded armor goes down to 8. Leather or padded armor plus shield, or studded leather or ring mail was 7. Studded leather or ring mail and a shield or scale mail was a 6. Scale mail and a shield or chain was 5. Chain mail and shield or splint mail or banded mail went down to 4. Splint or banded mail plus shield or plate mail went to 3. And plate and shield went to 2. For each +1 of magic armor or magic shield, decrease the armor class 1 is given. For example, the non armored character with a +1 shield is AC 8. a +2 shield, AC7, etc. The same is true in regard to pluses of magic armor of any type. A +1 converts to a 5% probability. Thus, the +2 equals to 10% lesser likelihood of being hit. Magic plate +3 and magic shield +5 are equal to AC -6. F off, monsters.
Yep.
Or can be treated as AC2 with a subtraction of 8 from attacker's 2-hit roll. I like that.
Yep.
And then weapons. The weapons of choice used by your character might be circumscribed by the class of your character, but selection is otherwise a matter of your preferences based on various factors presented hereafter. Of course, the initial cost of the weapon might affect your selection at the beginning. Beyond this consideration, there are factors of size and weight. The damage inflicted by the weapon is important, as is the amount of space required to wield it. These details are given hereafter. Weapon proficiency. At the start, your character will be able to employ but a limited number of weapons. The number is determined by class. When the character moves up in levels of experience to the next higher combat melee table, he or she is assumed to have acquired proficiency in an additional weapon. The new weapon is of his or her choice. Note that proficiency with a normal weapon is subsumed in using a magical weapon of the same type. If proficiency with any given weapon is not held by the character, it is used as a penalty as shown on the table which follows. So the weapon proficiency table is another thing that they've gotten rid of. Here
Yes.
quickly they have basically your cleric and druid start up with initial two proficiency weapons. Your non-proficiency penalty for the cleric is -3, while for the druid it's -4. And the cleric gets an additional weapon proficiency at every 4 levels, and the druid one for every 5 levels. Your fighter starts off with 4 weapons, -2 non-proficiency penalty, and gets another one every 3 levels. Your paladin is 3 -2 and one every 3. Your ranger is 3 -2 and one every 3. Your magic user is 1. Non-proficiency is -5, and you get one in every 6 levels if you're lucky.
So a staff and a dart or a
Yeah,
crossbow.
you don't even get
Light
a dart.
crossbow, Eric.
Yeah, they give them crossbows now. How stupid is that, dude?
That is cool. You're supposed to have a
No,
ranged
it's
weapon.
not. No, it's not. You're
Look, you
too
can
busy.
even in first edition says you can be proficient in a crossbow. So even at level 1, it'd be like, I take light crossbow.
No, it doesn't. Where does it say that?
Initial number of weapons is 1.
Yeah. But
Oh
you
yeah,
are
you're right.
restricted to the
After
numbers. Yes.
that,
Restricted to the type of weapon that you can learn.
yeah, whatever, man. It's my game.
You said whatever. I'm going to charm you and send you to another plane. It's a powerful charm. Oh, this shit.
That was okay.
Yeah.
So you guys couldn't be part of that because our audio is bad enough. But imagine the group's audio. Oh my god, the in and out that you hear. So we did tell the story in another video. But if you're new to the channel, hello, and if you made it this far, thank you very much, and thanks for supporting the channel. We're currently playing Curse of Strahd, and Strahd charmed Eric, who had a +7 to his wisdom save.
+7. An advantage.
Oh, that's right. You used it.
Yes. I had advantage. So I'm rolling 2d20. I need to roll a 10 or higher on 2 dice.
Yep.
I rolled 2 freaking 2s.
That was funny as hell.
Bad.
So during the course of Strahd's talking with the group, and he charms his lizard man druid Izaquato, and because he got tired of Izaquato like just eating all rude and just basically being uncouth, and so Strahd was just like he just charmed him like, now you're gonna have manners, now you're gonna sit up straight. Now you're no longer gonna be eating with your hands. You're gonna be using a fork and a knife.
Fork and knife. Oh, I'm gonna eat him with my hands.
And so he had tempted the group, and to show that he had power to let anybody go, I had him put Eric back into the Forgotten Realms for like, I don't know, like about 5 or 10 seconds. And then he brings him back, and Eric thought he had got me, and he goes, aha, the charm doesn't work anymore because I went to another plane. And I told him, I don't care.
Armor. The book is more of a guideline anyway. The rules are a guideline, like the pirate's code.
Like the pirate, I quoted that. I was like,
More of a
no.
guideline.
I go, for the purpose of the story right here, no. You
Plot
are still
armor.
charmed.
Plot armor. Plot spell.
Plot spell, Um, so it did
Hashtag
show that
plot
he was
spell.
real. He did show that he kept his word, that he can, let people go. He just
Doesn't
can't
get
bring them
eaten.
in. Like the myth usually controls that.
Yeah.
But
He
once again,
himself can't leave.
yep. Once again, it's your game, people. Do what you want. Hashtag Joaquin is right. All right.
Hashtag my DM's a cheater. Oh, okay. So the thief gets 2 weapons, -3, one every four. Assassin gets 3 weapons, -2 every four levels. And the monk gets one with a -3 proficiency and one every 2 level. It's
The
actually the fastest progressive weapon proficiency.
Because he's supposed to be also a specialist with certain weapons. So, you got your little nunchucks, bow staff, and some other things. So he's
Yeah.
going to pick up on that stuff quicker. So go ahead and read the note regarding proficiency table,
Yeah.
and then we're going to talk about the other charts real quick.
Yeah. Initial number of weapons shows the number which the character may be selected to be proficient with, i.e., a cleric could select a flail and staff, club and mace, or any combination of two permitted weapons. Non proficiency penalty indicates a subtraction from the characters to hit dice, which applies to attacks by the character using a weapon in missile or melee combat. Added proficiency in weapons gives a number of additional weapons the character can use with the proficiency upon attaining the indicated number of levels above the first. Thus, at first level, a cleric can use 2 weapons with proficiency. At fifth level, he selects another one for a total of 3. At ninth level, the total is 4. At 13, 5, etc.
So that was brutal
Yeah,
because if you were
wasn't that
proficient,
brutal?
it was, in a sense, it was because if you're proficient with a weapon, you don't get an additional +1 to hit or anything like that. It just means you know how to use it. Now,
Correct.
if you are a fighter and you pick up a battle axe and you're not specialized in a battle axe because you haven't trained with it, that's a -2. That could be a big difference of you being effective in combat against high level AC monsters. Or
Yep.
you're a
Well, you
druid who loses their scimitar and now has to pick up a longsword.
yep.
That's -4. And then wizards, I'd just be like, I'm just picking up
Use your
rocks.
spells. Yeah.
I'm just picking up rocks.
But I mean, it wasn't that bad.
No, it sometimes it came up. There were a few
No, yeah,
situations.
sometimes, but
All right.
people gotten soft.
So we picked okay, so the footman's mace is 150 gold pieces in weight. It did
Uh,
2 through 7. What you might as well, at that point, just
D6
make it
plus
2 to,
one.
just make it 2 to 8.
Oh,
Like I don't know. That's just a weird number. And then they did 2d8. Might as well just put that at the 2d10 against large size. I mean, or
because
or it just does
2d4 basically is a
one d6. I don't know. I'm just looking at that stuff and I'm like, this is just
it's
weird.
just average. It's percentages of the what you're gonna roll. Your D6, your average is gonna be 3 or 4, but then you get that plus one. It gives it a little more. Whereas you against large creatures, you roll 2d4, chances are you're gonna roll higher than the single D6 plus one.
Yeah.
So, and the horseman's mace, is just a small little mace to be wielded from a horse because you're not whipping around this 2 foot length of chain with a 16-ounce ball on the end of it because you might smack your horse in the head.
Yep. So that's 35 gold pieces. It only does 2d5 and it only does 2d5 against large.
Yeah, 'cause it's super small.
Yeah. Let's look at the bastard sword, which I'm allowed to say. I want to say bastard
Allowed to
sword.
say, who's stopping you?
Exactly. I just can't say bastard without saying sword. All right, so
What,
100 gold
what
piece
about the
weight.
ODB?
Yeah, man. 2d8. That's why I love getting like a bastard sword to start out with because look what it did against large. 2 to
Yep,
16.
yep. I get
And
a
and
bastard dagger.
yeah, bastard dagger. Everything's gonna be
Did I say
bastard.
that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a bastard scimitar.
The other
Every
cool one
weapon.
to get, because a bastard sword, I believe, required 2 hands.
Correct. Well, bastard sword used to be able to. It was one-handed and two-handed.
Yeah, so they had that at
Which
one point.
that was in second edition.
Yep.
In first edition, it was still two weapons, two-handed.
I don't know if that was two-handed, doesn't even say.
Yeah, bastard sword was two-handed weapons. It'll say later.
Does it?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, but the long sword was really the proficient sword to get because
and that was the most
1d8
common.
and it did 1d12 against large. That was nice. And you didn't
Yeah.
have to wield it with two hands.
Yep.
And then the ultimate is the short sword. I mean, the two-handed sword. 1d10 people and 3 through
Yeah,
18.
3d6. Yeah,
3d6 is
3d6.
nice, dude.
Yeah. So the bastard, what it was with the bastard sword, that's the weapon. That's the damage using it two-handed, 2d4 or 2d8. If you use the bastard sword one-handed because it was basically a longer pommel.
Yeah.
If you used it one-handed, it was just a long sword.
So look at the notes in italic. Indicate weapon does twice the damage indicated by the dice roll to larger than man creatures when it is set firmly grounded to the receiving a charging opponent.
Yep, those are your like spear type weapons.
Yep. And
Those
then
are
if
your
you had a
pole
little
arms.
star, this weapon does twice the indicated damage against creatures of any size when it is employed by an attacker riding or charging mount.
Correct.
Y-
That's where the footman stuff comes
The
in, like
lance, you
lances,
get the
stuff like
lances
that.
and stuff. A
Yep.
spear has got two. This weapon does twice the damage indicated to any opponent when the weapon is set to receive the charge. Why would a
Yep.
lance do more damage than a spear?
Because the lance, you're taking in the fact that you're charging on a 400 to 500 pound beast, and all that kinetic energy is focused in the one tiny point at the tip of the spear
Mm.
or the tip of the lance. Whereas you're with a lance, you are affecting energy as opposed to as a spear, you're receiving it. So a person isn't going to charge into a spear full force. It's going to try and dodge it or what have you, therefore reducing the momentum at which they make impact. Whereas a guy on a horse, a rider on a horse wielding the lance, they are actively seeking to make that contact point.
Look, all I know is a female fighter image is probably giving the same expression that most of the people who are listening and watching this video. I don't care what the science is. All I know is I kick ass. I'm just thinking about
A
that right
guideline
now.
anyway,
As you're going through all this, I'm like, man, we just turned this into physics class.
right? I was like, you don't get me. I went off on a tangent.
Yep. All right. So now the wrap up. So next up
Wait,
is part
wait.
11, hiring and henchmen and time and distance. The reason why I wanted to, normally we would have just read on through this and got to the spells, but I told Eric that I wanted to talk about hiring and henchmen because most 5e players
Players
do not like them because they call them
aren't cooperative.
XP sponges. So that's it, people. Highlights, Eric. What did you learn from?
Well, I was curious. I just wanted to quickly mention, how they had the different. I didn't want to read the charts. But weapons back then, they were given a length. They required specific points of space,
Yeah.
and they also the ever. I loved it. Speed factor.
Yes.
Well, some weapons are just quicker than others, and it makes me sad that they dropped all that stuff. Armor class adjustments, a dagger is going to be more effective against leather armor than it is full plate mail, and a club or a mace is going to be more effective or just as effective against either of them. They just, there was a lot of detail and a lot of more thinking you had to do in your combat back then because different armors and different weapons reacted against each other differently.
Yeah, no, so real quick before we end this video. So battle axe minus
Mhm.
a speed factor of 7, so
Yeah, fairly hard, fairly slow weapon.
yeah. -3 against armor class 2, -2
Correct.
against 3, minus. But the
Basically, your
moment
medal
some fool you ran into some fool that had an armor class of
has
8,
scale
9, or
mail.
10, you started getting +1.
Yeah, because you're dealing with cloth,
Yeah,
dealing
you
with
are
leather,
just
you're dealing with
mowing
padding.
those fools down.
Yeah, and that was important. That was a oh, am I gonna? I've got a battle axe. Am I gonna attack that guy in full plate, or am I gonna attack these fools wearing furs first? I'm gonna
So
attack those fools wearing furs.
so a footman's flail is +2 against armor class 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then gets a
Exactly.
-1 on armor class 10 because they're
Yes, because
assuming the
they're
person is quick at that point. He's not wearing any armor, that he's seeing this
and again,
big ball with
it's your
spikes
blunt
coming.
weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
So
blunt weapons are gonna be fairly effective against your highly armored people because it's a different type of damage. It's
yep.
concussive.
And then they had their small, medium, large range for the weapons. Again, depending on the
You know, fire, all that stuff.
yeah, like stones and bullets. If you were just a common person walking
Yep.
down the street, minding your own business, and some thief takes a shot at you, he gets +3 to hit you,
Yeah, because you're
on
a
top of
fool.
everything else.
Because you're just walking down the street willy nilly.
Every crossbow is +4.
Well, yeah, the amount of force behind those things. Have you ever fired one of those things?
No, I haven't had the privilege.
Holy!
Really?
It's more
That's big of a kickback?
yes. And then it just it's not so much the kickback, it's the amount of force, the tension. Oh shit.
What was that? Hey, holy
Er,
chips, chocolate chips.
Oh, what are those explosions? I thought it was we had like, gunshots here around here. My neighborhood, these
Well,
fools
because
coming in
we're,
here.
we're, we're rolling into Happy 4th of July weekend, people. Um,
Hate
I hear them in
fireworks.
my
Hate
neighborhood too.
fireworks.
All right,
Mm.
so yeah, those are rules that you can go back and look if you can implement that. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Lord, but I thought this was gonna be a short video.
Yeah,
48 minutes.
45 minutes. I
Jesus.
told
All
you.
right, all right, we're gonna stop
You
here
like to ramble.
yeah, too much. So we
No
can get
worries.
in the next video, so we can have one at least for next week, no matter what.
I'm good. I'm good on next week, my times.
All right, cool,
I've
cool,
got
cool.
like extra days off and everything. So if
Nice. All right,
we do
yeah,
what we need to do
we
too, we're
got a lot of
good.
stuff to catch up on. Trust me, I got like
Yeah.
post-it notes and other
Get your
stacks.
post-its.
No, because I want to do videos, and then Eric's like, "You did a video without me."
Dude, yeah, really? Because Joaquin's all sneaky.
All right, with that, people, we'll catch you next video. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Hey guys.